At this time, would you please rise as the Clinton Scout Troop 1142 and 7142 present the flag, followed immediately by the playing of our national anthem. We will also follow the national anthem by reciting together the Pledge of Allegiance.
Color guard, attention! Color guard, forward march! Color guard, halt! Color guard, present the colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
Color guard, about face. Color guard, return to rank.
Thank you. My name is Bob Svensner, Assistant Principal of Clinton High School, and I would like to welcome you to today's ceremony and thank you for attending. I'm honored to be speaking with you today on such an important occasion. We are here today to honor our heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage, their dedication, to say thank you for the many sacrifices they have made for each and every one of us. At this time, I would like to ask service members and veterans who are present to please stand and be recognized. My father served in the United States Navy between 1959 and 1963 as a third-class bosun mate on the USC Miles C. Fox. I'm extremely proud of him and his service to our country. But let it be known that I have never personally worn the uniform, been to war, been wounded or scarred in battle. I've never left my family or had a family member leave for months or years to travel across the world to fight for people I do not know, to defend the freedoms that my country represents. I have no idea what war is really like. Many of the men and women who stood just a moment ago know very well what war is like, and I am truly astonished at their ability to overcome such adversity and be here with us today. What I do know is the admiration and pride I feel when I think about my dad's service and meet and talk with those of you who have served and what you have sacrificed for myself, my family, and for every one of us. For that, I send you my most sincere and heartfelt thanks. At this time, I have the honor and privilege to introduce to you today one of those people. Our speaker graduated from Stephen Decatur High School, joined the United States Navy, and served a total of 24 years between active duty and the reserves. Her duty stations included Combat Store Ship USS White Plains in Guam, Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 4 in California, Virginia, Japan, and Puerto Rico, 31st Naval Construction Regiment in California, the Operational Support Hospital Support Unit in Bethesda, Maryland, the Expeditionary Medical Facility in Great Lakes, Illinois, Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 25 in Afghanistan, and 3 NATO bases. Camp Lemonnier in Africa. She's completed trainings or has been stationed in 15 states, 2 U.S. territories, 6 countries to include Okinawa and Sasebo, Japan, Italy, Romania, Afghanistan, Djibouti, and Germany, just a few miles from where our German exchange students were from. Her awards include CB Combat Warfare, Information Warfare Specialist, Navy Commendation Medal, Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal 6th Award, Army Achievement Medal, Coast Guard Achievement Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, the NATO International Security Assistance Force Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal, Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal, as well as many other awards and ribbons. Many of you know her already as she's worked here for the last couple years as a paraprofessional. I would like to give you a warm welcome to Logistics Chief Petty Officer, Krystal Cicenas.
Good afternoon. It's great to see all of you this afternoon. I would like to thank the BSA Color Guard for the flag presentation, my fellow veterans, and those that are currently serving, and all of you that are here today. I'm Krystal Cicenas, and as you just heard in my bio, I retired from the Navy as a logistics chief. We stand here in the presence of living history. With us are veterans who have service spans for decades, from the end of World War II to recent conflicts in the Middle East, and those who have just completed their basic training. Each generation has faced its own challenges, fought for its own battles, and made its own sacrifices for the cause of freedom. I bring this up today because when we think of veterans, we often picture soldiers in combat, sailors on ships, or pilots in the skies. But for today, for just a few minutes, I want to talk about some of the unsung heroes for our armed forces, the support personnel who kept our military running smoothly. I want to talk about the mechanics who ensured our vehicles and aircrafts are battle ready, the medical staff who cared for the wounded and saved countless lives, the logistic experts who made sure supplies reached our troops no matter where they were stationed, the communication specialist who kept vital information flowing. Those roles don't always make headlines, but without them, no mission would succeed. They've endured the same separations from families, faced the same dangers from hostile territories, and shown the same commitment to duty as their comrades in combat roles. As we honor our veterans today, let's keep in mind that service comes from many forms. Each role, each job, each post is a vital part of what makes our military the finest in the world. For this Veterans Day, I'm going to discuss the types of jobs, positions one holds in the military. We call them MOSs, ratings. Sometimes, what hat are you wearing? Such as some that I brought before me today. The military as an overall has such a diverse amount of jobs. We join the military to join the military, to become something bigger than ourselves. Did you know that the primary job of everyone in the Navy is a firefighter? First, to control fires aboard ships and vessels. Second, to render buddy aid. The scouts that perform the flag ceremony have also trained in buddy aid. First aid is one of more than 100 merit badges that a scout can achieve during their scouting career. My job description personally that I was given when I joined the Navy was to manage inventory and release of general and specialized supplies and repair parts, to procure and receive supplies, as well as managing financial books related to purchases, plus the responsibility of personal and official mail. But what did I actually do in the Navy? My first job at 18, I was on a ship. I was given a box of supplies, I received it, I inventoried it, and then when the customers requested it, I put it into a different box, and I got it ready for the shipment. Basically, what I was doing is what our Walmart people do with those big blue boxes. I took things off the shelves, put them into the correct boxes, and got them ready for delivery for people that were waiting out in their cars. However, instead of having a car, it was an aircraft carrier or a ship in their battle group that we were supplying. My ship had 450 members on it, and 90 of us were in the supply department. And then all jobs as Navy sailors do during their first tour is to work in the galley or our food service. We do the work that nobody wants to do as a full-time for 20 years. That's cleaning tables, mopping floors, dishes, and such. The Navy does have culinary specialists who cook, and yes, they clean. They clean a lot. But they need assistance. And then during the last part of that tour, I became an administrative assistant to the supply officer, which is not a job description that I ever saw listed. I typed memos, evaluations. I wrote up Sailor of the Month, similar to our Student of the Month here. I did awards, I attended meetings, and I passed along information. But also, during this first year and a half, I learned how to fight a fire, shore up a space that might collapse. I broke up a freezer that was the size of a classroom, full of ice with a saltwater fire hose when it flooded. I learned how to iron clothes and shine my boots. I walked on a ship that tilted 17 degrees in each direction. I became responsible for deadlines, to be on time, even when being on time meant 4:50 in the morning for a 4 a.m. watch. Then I had the opportunity to be at awe at the number of stars that were in the night sky when there was absolutely no light pollution. I also learned advanced first aid, including suturing a wound, under supervision, of course. That training I've continued to this day. Some of you knew that I always had Band-Aids in my bag. You knew where to find them. And I knew when you needed to see the nurse. I traveled the rim of the Pacific, which some of you have learned. And I learned to say please, thank you, excuse me, and how to find the bathroom in 9 different languages, all before I turned 20 years old. Later in my career, I became a supervisor to a medical unit, teacher, trainer, forklift operator, and in charge of an NDOC program. I handled administrative paperwork, a career counselor, purchaser, accountant, mentor, and many other things. In addition to all of this, did you know in the Navy, you can become a doctor, a medical profession, a mortician, plumber, a metal worker, work in the IT department, including satellite and drone work, a legalman or a paralegal, nuclear engineer, repair technicians, mass communications specialist, a broadcaster, photojournalist, a master at arms, a musician, a Navy diver, and 65 other very unique positions. The Air Force has 136 unique positions. Many of them overlap, but they also have positions called aircraft loadmaster, airborne cryptological language analysis, and an aircraft controller. The Army has 140 unique positions. Some of their interesting ones are a quarrying specialist. They use heavy equipment for earth moving in order to make roads, dams, airfields, and they all can be built. They are also the only branch that has the veterinarian specialist. So any of you that are interested in animals, the Army is the only place in the military that you can do that one. They have geospatial engineers and unmanned aircraft system repairers. Marine Corps has 125 jobs. Again, that falls under many of the other ones. Some of their unique ones are counterintelligence specialists. Their version of logistics falls under the realm of maintaining vehicles. So if you get confused with the logistics and you want to work on vehicles, that's Marine Corps, not Navy. For the Coast Guard, they have 22 specialists. Their aviation survival technicians are rescue swimmers. They also do their maintenance on their aircraft, aircrew survival equipment, and rescue devices. So no matter what you do in the military, everyone is a firefighter, everyone does first aid, buddy aid, but you can have very unique positions. The next point I'd like to bring to your attention is about the veteran spirit that lives in all of us, all of you here. That the quality of courage, sacrifice, and service to our veterans exemplifies what we can aspire in our daily lives. The soldier who charges into battle shows courage, but so does the single parent working 2 jobs to provide for their family. The sailor who spends months at sea makes great sacrifices, but so does the caregiver who puts their life on hold to look after an elderly parent. Our veterans have served our country in uniform, but service can take many forms. It's the teacher staying late to help a struggling student. It's the volunteer at the local food bank. It's the neighbor who checks in on the elderly couple next door during a heat wave. The lessons my fellow veterans have taught us about teamwork, about perseverance in the face of adversity, about putting the needs of others before our own. These are lessons we can apply in our lives, in our communities, and in our nation. So as today we honor our veterans, let's also honor the veteran spirit in all of us. Let's commit to serving our committees, to standing up for what is right, to make sacrifices for the greater good. Let's also keep in mind that our veterans are not just historical figures or statistics. They are our neighbors, our co-workers, our friends, and our family members. They coach our youth sports teams, serve on our local boards, and volunteer in our communities. They continue to serve and contribute long after they have hung up their uniforms. So as we leave here today, let's each ask of ourselves, how can I honor the legacy of our veterans in my daily life? How can I be worthy of the freedoms that they have protected? How can I contribute to building a nation that lives up to the ideals for which they have fought? Perhaps it's by volunteering at a local veterans organization or by supporting a veterans-owned business. Maybe it's by taking the time to listen to a veteran's story or by teaching our youth about the true meaning of service and sacrifice. It could be as simple as reaching out to a veteran's neighbor to offer friendship and support. We are a volunteer military. Current statistics show that in 1980, about 18% of the US adults were veterans. Today, it is approximately 5%. Active duty service members comprise less of 0.5% of the US population. Yet when Hurricanes Helene and Milton wreaked havoc on the southeastern United States, thousands of active duty, reserves, and National Guard service members mobilized to provide life-saving relief and recovery operations. An estimated 43,000 US troops and a dozen warships are deployed in the Middle East. Marine Corps detachments provide security to US embassies around the world. Members of the Coast Guard perform an average of 42 search and rescue missions daily. They facilitate the movement of $15.6 billion of goods and commodities through our maritime transportation systems each day. And with that, I leave you with this quote. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. John Quincy Adams. Thank you.
I would like to personally thank Krystal Cicenas and each of our veterans for the years of service and the sacrifices you have made for us on and off the field of battle. Each man or woman that served should be an inspiration for their dedication and bravery, which commands our unwavering respect and gratitude. I'm humbled by their commitment, sacrifice, and dedication to us and our nation. At this time, I would like to conclude our ceremony with a round of applause for the veterans gathered here today.